Well, hey there, Chef Donna here, and welcome to Everyday Homemade. Today, I have a friend of mine coming over. His name is Chef Wayne, and he is going to share his family recipe for marinara sauce. I've been asking him for the longest time for this recipe, and he's finally agreed to come on and share it with all of you. So while I wait for Wayne to show up, I am going to start on a fresh pasta. If you've never made fresh pasta from scratch, this is going to be such a treat. So let's get started. To make our pasta, I'm going to use a cup of all-purpose flour and half a cup of semolina flour. And we're going to do it right here on top of the countertop. I'm just going to mix these two together, and then we're going to make a little well, and we're going to pour 2 eggs into it. How fun is this, right? All right, so here we go. Mixing 2 extra large eggs. I'm going to give it a pinch of salt and then a splash of extra virgin olive oil. We're going to mix this in, and we're going to create a bowl. Now I want my sides to be kind of high because I don't want the egg to run across the counter and onto the floor, so that we get a good bowl. We're going to put the egg right in. Now, using the fork, we're going to pull flour from the bottom parts and just slowly start to mix the flour in until we get it all incorporated. I wrap the dough in plastic wrap, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and let it rest for 30 minutes. My dough has been resting for about 30 minutes, so I'm going to unwrap it. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can roll it out. So I'm going to flour the surface here, and I'm just going to cut off a piece of this dough because I don't want to try to roll out this whole big thing. Just kind of flatten it out a little bit with your hands. Sprinkle it with some flour. And then with the rolling pin, the little flour on the rolling pin, we're going to roll it out. So now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to roll it up. Just like this. And then we're going to cut it into strips. The trick to keep it from sticking is to sprinkle it and lightly toss it with some flour. And then we can set it aside until we're ready to cook it. If you have a KitchenAid stand mixer, it comes with, you can purchase some attachments for it. One, roll it out, and then there's like 2 dies that come in the kit. So we're going to go ahead and put some of the dough in. Now it has different settings on the knob on this side. So then you want to do it maybe halfway, like I have it right now on a 4. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll the dough through. And then this is pretty thin. We're going to roll it one more time at the next setting. And I'm just going to bring it up to number 8, and we'll roll it through again. Just like that. And it's nice and thin. I can see my fingers right through it. And then we're going to change the die out. Now, there's a couple of different dies. Here it is. This one is for like fettuccine. So I'm just going to add this one in. Tighten it up. How fun is that? First thing we're going to do is get some garlic peel to get into our sauce pot and heat it up. So Chef
Exactly.
Wayne's going to show you a little secret about how to peel the garlic.
First, get the knife, hit it down. Chef Wayne.
Going to peel the garlic.
Peel the garlic.
So there you go. It's
There
all
we
nice
go.
and peeled
So
off.
we could just try some of that for now. Then what we want to do, I cut the little tips off here. And then, just get it all, smash it, it's nicer, because when you chop it, you can add as much garlic as you want. If you don't like garlic, use a little bit. If not, you don't have to. But I like garlic. Italian garlic, oil, and basil. They're the two main ingredients. First thing we do is add a little olive oil. That's
Okay.
the main thing. You add a little olive oil.
You want it on like a medium?
Yeah, put it on medium.
Medium heat?
Okay. That's a good idea. You gotta turn that on.
That's stove on. Helps.
And a little olive oil. These are the tomatoes, the crushed tomatoes, What I like to do is I put the plum tomatoes in here. And we just squeeze them like this.
All right, so now we have the garlic cooking right
See
in
the garlic?
here.
It's beautiful.
And you're going to add in
Now I'm
the...
adding in the crush.
Oh, look at
Look
that.
at
Beautiful.
that. Add the crush. Look how thick. You see how thick that is, the crushed tomatoes? It's beautiful. Now we're adding the plum tomatoes, which makes it a little more thinner. You can see it's thin, but it's nice and firm. It's beautiful. Don't forget your sugar. You have to add a little bit of sugar. Sugar takes the bitterness out of there.
Okay,
About
just
a
like
teaspoon or so.
just
Tablespoon.
a little pinch of sugar.
Yes. And we have a little salt and pepper.
We do, they're right in front of you.
Oh. A little salt.
A little pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt. Not too much. And the pepper.
Yep. Some fresh ground pepper, the only kind to have.
Oh, yeah. Now, we're going to get the basil. Look at that.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
That's God's heaven right there. I break the basil up.
You just
break
like to
it up.
tear it. Oh, it's gorgeous. Look at that.
I like a lot of basil. Basil is so good. Basil, it's a marriage.
Now, where from Sicily are your parents?
My parents are from Calabria. My grandparents are from Calabria, which is one of the oldest parts of Italy.
Okay.
It's
Where in the country is it? North,
it's south.
It's south.
It's south.
South
And it's really ancient.
Oh, nice.
And my grandfather, when he came here, it's a nice story. When he came here, he came over probably in 1914, whatever,
Okay.
in a boat with the clothes on his back. He had nothing.
Right.
The gentleman took a liking to him and gave him a job on the golf course.
On the golf course?
Helped him build the golf courses in America. It's funny, when he met my grandmother, he had to call Italy to get permission to marry her.
Oh, well, there's the old school way. You better
Old
get
school,
permission.
you got to get permission.
Absolutely.
Today, everybody, your
Not
friends
so
can
much
marry you.
today. So now, what else do we have to add?
Well,
to this?
if it's too thick, this is a little thick, but I'd like to add a little water. Just thins it out a little bit.
Okay.
If you like it real thick, I like it a little thick. Oops. And just thins it out a little bit.
All right.
And I like to cook it. I know it's no meat in here. When you cook your, we call it gravy in Jersey, Philly, New York. So when you cook the sauce, gravy, with meatballs or anything, you're going to cook it for 3 hours. Sausage, meatballs, pork, you're going to cook it for 3 hours. You're going to fry your meatballs first, and they're not going to be fried all the way. You put them in the gravy, the sauce, and it cooks low for 3 hours.
It
Keeps on
gives them
turning.
a little bit more flavor when you fry them first.
It flavors the gravy.
Because remember, brown food always adds more flavor.
And the oils from when you're frying it, it just goes in there. It's just magnificent.
Add all the oil and everything right into your sauce.
Yeah, of course. And it makes it good.
Yeah,
It makes it
absolutely. Absolutely. Now, do you put any wine in your sauce?
Yes, we're going to put wine in it. Now, the best way to get wine is just get the bottle and drink it. No, I'm only kidding.
Well, you can.
You can put brown paper bags, stand outside, whatever. You get a little wine.
What do you think? Half a cup, maybe?
Yeah, about it.
About half a cup of red wine. Any wine that you like, you can use.
Anything.
Yeah.
Preferably the wine that you like to drink. because it has the taste.
Speaking of having a glass of wine, we should do that.
Well, maybe we should.
Maybe we should. Here you go. Here's a glass.
Oh, that's not a glass, that's a mug.
Hey now, I don't mess around with my wine. There you go. Gotta have some red wine when you're making sauce.
Oh, you
It's
kidding?
the only way to go. And then we'll have some little pasta later. Yum. Let's
There
see.
you go. Gindanuna.
Oh.
They live 101 years. And the last voice you hear is mine. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Very good.
All right, so we're gonna let the sauce simmer for how long?
We're gonna let it simmer. You can let it simmer as long as you want. Keep on stirring it though, because if you don't stir, it's gonna burn. You want to let it simmer. We're gonna keep it low, and let it simmer for about a half hour.
40
Half hour is
minutes,
fine.
something like that. And then we'll come back and we'll give it a taste.
And then you give it a taste. Now these dishes, these are like, you could make this like a depression dish. Back in the 20s, they used to have the depression dishes. Marinara sauce, because nobody could afford the meat or anything like that. Best thing is like you have this, you have a little sauce left over. You get a bag of peas and some little the shells, the little shells.
The
Put
shell
the peas
pasta?
in here. Pasta peas, they call them.
Oh, there you go.
It's so hearty and it's good.
You know, my
and it's
grandmother and my aunts used to make that because half of my family is from Italy also. And they always make pasta with peas.
Pasta peas.
And then they used to put hard-boiled eggs in too.
Sure, you could put
Meatballs and they cook the hard-boiled eggs.
anything that was cheap, because
Well, and that's
nobody
what
had
it
the
was.
money in those days.
It stretched out the meal.
Mhm.
They say if you didn't have a lot of meat to make meatballs, you would add hard-boiled eggs, and then it would fill all the kids up
That's
because they
it.
eat the eggs.
And string beans and potatoes.
Yes, string beans.
String beans and potatoes. Put potatoes, you have a couple potatoes, cut them up, string beans, just cook them to death over here. Full show.
Yeah.
Loaf of Italian bread. The loaf of Italian bread and the vino will be perfect.
It's the best part.
That's the best part of it. You have to have the
Like,
bread. I
you
should be ashamed of myself. I didn't bring no bread.
Yeah.
But you dip the bread.
Oh, it's the best.
It's like
the best.
it's like a marriage.
It reminds me of Sundays when my mom used to make sauce, and we'd go in there with a piece of Italian bread and we'd dip it in the sauce and have a taste. God, that brings back some memories.
That's it. I remember that. And I remember my mother, when she was cooking, she always had the radio on, or she put the record player on, the records. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Mario Alonso, all the Italian music go through there. Between the flavors and the music,
It was heaven.
It was heaven.
He's
And I lived in
the
an Italian.
best.
I lived in an Italian neighborhood where you walk down the street, you smell all the meatballs frying, the gravy. And
Every Sunday.
Every summer. Every summer.
All right, well, we're going to go enjoy some wine, and we're going to wait for the sauce to simmer, and then we'll be back.
We'll be back. We don't know what kind of condition we'll be back, but
Oh,
we'll
we'll
be
be
back.
back. So here, you're just rinsing off. You're
I'm
taking
rinsing it
the
off.
stems off.
The stems off. You don't want to
Remove
use
the
this part.
stems.
This is tough.
Okay.
But sometimes when you get this part like that, it's fine. That's fine.
Smaller stems.
And even these little
the heads.
all edible, all good.
Yeah.
All good. This is bitter. So if you don't want it bitter, you blanch it and it takes the bitterness out. Me, I like it better.
So welcome back. Our sauce has been simmering for
And
about
where it's
30 minutes. He's drunk. I'm not drunk. But we're going to make a broccoli rabe sauce for the pasta. So what are we going to do here, Chef?
Okay. So we're going to add a little oil.
Good amount of oil.
Wait a minute. You want that flavor in there. The flavor of the oil.
Got a nice sizzle, so the pan is nice and warm.
And how much garlic you add as much garlic as you want. I like a lot.
Like a lot of garlic.
But,
Keeps the vampires away.
keeps my ex-wife's away.
Uh-oh, we won't go there. So we're just going to get it so it's lightly brown. Is that what
Lightly
we're doing?
brown. Okay. Here's the broccoli rabe. You want to use 2 heads because 1 head's not going to be enough. You'll see how this
We got a good simmer.
cooks down. This will cook down to absolutely nothing, really. You see it nice and
Beautiful. It's nice
Beautiful.
bright green. And we just want to cook it till it wilts.
Wilts down, just wilts down. And you want to cook it a little more because these take a little longer to wilt down. But these are very good.
The heads?
The heads are excellent.
What else are we going to add to this pan here?
We're going to add a little salt and pepper.
Okay.
I just want to get it down a little bit.
I want it to wilt a little bit more.
Yeah.
All right. So now it's wilted down a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and season it.
Season with some salt.
A little salt.
We're going to add some pepper.
Fresh ground black pepper is always the best.
Yeah. And I like to add a little hot pepper.
Oh, little red pepper flakes?
A little red pepper.
All right.
Then I add some water.
You want to actually make a sauce.
Yeah, it's so good.
All right, so now are we going to serve this like over pasta? Are we going to serve it with the red sauce?
We could do it over pasta. We could do it over red sauce. You could do it however you want.
Okay.
You know. But I just want to show you how to make broccoli rabe because it's really good with pork. Like I said, good pork with meats and things like that.
Yeah, it's very versatile. You can use it with a lot of different dishes.
A lot of different things.
So now our water has come up to boil, and we did put a good amount of salt in the water. You always want to do that to flavor your pasta when you're going to cook it. So we have the pasta that we made earlier. So now fresh pasta only needs to cook for a couple of minutes. Usually about 3 minutes or so, and then it will be all done. You have a little claw thingy over there, Wayne? The spoon.
Oh, the spoon, I'm sorry.
The spoon! We like that one with a little
spoon.
claw, so we can kind of separate the pasta in the pot. So our pasta is just about done, and we're going to go ahead and drain it. So now we're going to plate up our bowls. We have our pasta
the
here.
pasta.
Ooh, it's nice and long.
Look at that.
And we're going to spoon some of this beautiful marinara right on top. Do you like a lot or a little?
Oh, you could load it.
Is that more?
A little more. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Oh,
That's a lot.
I love it.
Oh, look at those big chunks of tomatoes.
That's what you have in there.
Holy moly. It's beautiful. All right, so now we're just gonna put a
You
little
could
bit.
put a broccoli rabe in
The
there.
rabe right on top.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We gotta finish it off with a little.
With the fancy.
Grated Parmesan. Say when.
When?
Do you want some fresh ground pepper on top?
Of course.
All right. So I want to say a special thank you for Chef Wayne for coming over and sharing his special secret family recipe. So let's have a bite. And the sauce, you can taste the basil and the garlic. And it's really nice because he put that little bit of sugar in. It doesn't really have a bite to it. It makes it nice and smooth.
Delicious.
So good. I can't wait for you guys to try this one.
Yes, I'll
Salute.